Welcome to the Dewey Show, where I talk about news, current events, and everything else that I think you'll find interesting. The Dewey Show only partners with companies that I think are the best in their field, which is why the Dewey Show is brought to you by AdamMel.com. AdamMel.com has literally thousands of items that will spice things up in your bedroom. AdamMel.com has sex toys, anal douches, lubricants, BDSM equipment. Like I said, literally thousands of items. As amazing as that isn't even the best part, folks. The best part is if you go to AdamMel.com and you use the offer code Dewey at checkout, you'll get 50% off of almost any one item, as well as free and always discreet shipping. That is AdamMel.com, AdamMale.com, offer code DEWEY. The details are in the description of today's episode. Thank you to AdamMale.com.
The prosecution has completed its part in the criminal and civil cases against Donald Trump, with significant emphasis on Michael Cohen, Trump's former lawyer, as a key witness. During the trial, Cohen underwent intense questioning by Trump's defense, aiming to portray him as someone exploiting his connection with Trump for financial gain. He confessed to stealing from the Trump organization by keeping $30,000 from a supposed reimbursement meant for a tech company. Cohen's testimony included details about a 2016 phone call with Trump regarding the Stormy Daniels hush money deal, a central piece of the prosecution's case. The defense attempted to discredit this testimony, suggesting the call might have been about an unrelated issue. Despite these challenges, Cohen stated it would be financially better for him if Trump were not convicted, indicating his ongoing interest in discussing the trial's events. The defense called witnesses, including Robert Costello, who contradicted Cohen's claims about Trump's knowledge of the hush money payment. There was a moment of contention when Judge Merchan admonished Costello for disrespectful behavior in court. The trial has seen visible support for Trump from notable figures outside the courtroom. The defense plans to conclude its case soon, with closing arguments expected to follow after Memorial Day, marking the next phase in this high-profile legal battle against Trump. Looking into political donations, this incident underscores the deeply divided nature of American political discourse and the challenges facing the country as it approaches another election cycle. The reactions to Trump's video signal that, regardless of political affiliation, there is a critical conversation to be had about the tone and content of political communication and the implications it has for democratic values and societal cohesion. Joe Biden's political fundraising saw a decline in April, signaling potential concerns for the incumbent president who is behind in polls and facing challenges in rallying his base. Biden's fundraising apparatus, encompassing his campaign, joint fundraising committees, and the Democratic National Committee, reported a decreased total of $51 million, a significant drop from the $90 million raised in March following the State of the Union address. However, the operation still boasts $192 million in cash reserves. On the other hand, Donald Trump's fundraising efforts gained momentum, particularly after aligning closely with the Republican National Committee, RNC, though his campaign also faced substantial legal expenses. Despite these costs, Trump's campaign managed to slightly expand its operations last month. Campaign finance reports reveal Trump's side raised $76 million in April, although this includes figures from the RNC that will be formally reported in July. Trump's campaign, which spent $5.5 million in April, maintains a lower payroll and a smaller team compared to Biden's, indicating a lag in developing its campaign infrastructure. The Biden campaign aims to contrast its fundraising achievements with Trump's, highlighting strong grassroots support and a more substantial operational workforce. In response to funding challenges, Biden has planned several fundraising events, including appearances in Boston and Los Angeles, the latter featuring notable figures such as former President Barack Obama and celebrities. Despite the fluctuating fundraising landscape, both camps maintain robust support from super PACs, which can raise unlimited funds but must operate independently from the campaigns themselves. As the political race intensifies, the strategies and support bases of both candidates will be crucial in shaping the outcome of the upcoming election. And finally, Donald Trump's social media post exhibits a united Reich. The incident involving Donald Trump and the United Reich video post is deeply concerning and reflects issues within American politics and social discourse. Critics argue that this episode is not merely an isolated incident, but part of a disturbing pattern of behavior from Trump, who has been accused of courting extremist and racist factions in the past. We, in fact, have video proof. Remember the quote, "fine people" on both sides? Do you remember him telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by? The posting of a video on his platform that displayed the words United Reich is seen as yet another example of Trump's alleged willingness to use inflammatory and dangerous rhetoric to energize a base that includes white nationalists and other fringe groups. The term United Reich, evocative of Nazi Germany, is particularly alarming to many, including historians, political analysts, and survivors of Holocaust-related atrocities. They assert that such language plays into the hands of far-right extremists, potentially emboldening them and legitimizing their ideologies under the guise of political discourse.
Just to take a quick break here to remind you folks that today's episode is sponsored by AdamMail.com. AdamMail.com has literally thousands of items that will spice up your sex life. They have sex toys, condoms, lubricants, anal douches, BDSM equipment. Like I said, thousands of items. You'll be like a kid in a candy store. So head over to AdamMail.com, and if you use the offer code Dewey at checkout, folks, you'll get 50% off of almost any one item, as well as free and always discreet shipping. That's AdamMail.com, AdamMale.com. Offer code DEWEY. Along with everything else I talk about today, this information is in the description of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and we're back.
In response, myself and other folks on the left have and will continue to be loud in our criticism of Trump and his post. Our argument that, as a former president and a figure with significant influence, Trump bears a responsibility to foster a political climate free from hate and extremism. Instead, his actions have repeatedly shown a disregard for these values, contributing to a more divisive and charged political environment. All of us, including Trump supporters, should be calling for accountability and emphasizing the need for vigilance against the normalization of extremist language in political discourse. Some have pushed for social media platforms and political institutions to take a stronger stand against individuals and content that promote or glorify hatred and authoritarian ideologies. In conclusion, the incident involving Donald Trump's posting of a video with the words United Reich is interpreted as a dangerous nod to white supremacist groups and an indication of his continuing influence on the political right. It serves as a call to action for those concerned with the preservation of democratic values and the combat against the proliferation of hate speech and extremism in American political life.